Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. In today's class, we're going to use light weights. I have 2 pounds. You can use anything up to 5 pounds, but the heavier you go, just be sure to modify as you need to limit the number of reps and really focus on form over volume. This class will have modifications if you are pregnant like me, and it will have a decent amount of standing work. We're going to work a little bit on balance and using the weights to kind of challenge that a little bit as well. And we'll get started. Thanks. Hello. You will need light weights if you don't already have them, anything 5 pounds or under, and we will start standing. So you can get rid of your weights. Just start with them somewhere convenient. And if you don't want weights or you don't have them, your arms will feel plenty heavy at some point. They're not required. And just bring your hands on your hips, and then take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, feel your pelvic floor lift, your ribs draw into one another, your abdominals draw in towards each other as well across the front of your body, giving yourself some support. And then just come up onto your toes, relax your shoulders, think about the crown of your head going up towards the ceiling, and then leave your head nice and tall, your neck nice and tall as you slowly lower your heels all the way back down. And then again, come up onto the tops of onto your toes. Have your knees be soft so they're not hyperextended. And then again, slowly come all the way back down. One more time, really spread through your toes as you press up onto the balls of your feet. And then release back down. With your hands on your hips, you're just going to hinge at the hips and the tailbone back away from the crown of your head. Knees are soft, giving yourself a nice stretch through your spine. Your neck is long, shoulders are relaxed. And then press your hips forward if you come to stand tall. And then again, hinge at the hips. And then back up. 3 more. Stretching through the hamstrings. Notice if your range of motion starts to improve a little as you move. And as you come up, have that tiny tuck under of the tailbone, but make sure you're not pressing your hips forward and going all the way into your low back. Toes are spread nice and wide on the mat. Last one. And then this time you're going to hinge and hold. Feeling the backs of your legs, your sitting bones, and then think about finding even more length out of the backs of your legs that stretch through your hamstrings and then through the front of your hips and your spine as you round yourself forward towards the floor for the first time. Let your arms be nice and heavy and give your head a little shake. Yes and no. Make sure that you're not holding tension in your neck and you're not looking ahead. Your gaze is back at your knees, and then let your arms be heavy. Keep your knees nice and soft, and peel yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time. We're going to do that 1 more time. So hinge at your hips, come forward. Find that length through the spine, and then keep thinking about finding even more length as you fold over your legs. Maybe see if you can get a little bit more of your hand or your fingertips on the floor or towards the floor. Shake your head up. And then again, peel yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time. And then bring your arms by your sides, stack your spine up nice and tall. You're gonna grab onto your weights if you would like to start with them. You can also add them at any time. And you're gonna bring them in front of you like you're bent at 90, not like, your arms are bent at 90 degrees. So your shoulders are about in line with your elbows, wrists in line with your elbows. You're just holding your arms up and then just press your arms up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades kind of hug in around your shoulders. And then as you bend your arms, feel the engagement of your back. Your shoulder blades should be flat on your spine. You're just going to hold your arms here. And then you're going to hinge at the hip on the right side. Bring that right leg up into a tabletop and then tap that foot towards the floor. And then reach that arm up. Leg up, arms stay still. Feeling kind of the weight transfer, what happens across your back and your abdominals, your shoulders, keeping them nice and relaxed, but don't think about pulling them down, just let them be. 2 more like this. Just notice if your body wants to twist or anything like that. Last one, pause with this right leg up. Extend the left arm, right leg, and then bring it back to your starting position. So that tabletop And 90 position with your arm, and extend, and bend. Trying to keep your foot hovering off the floor if that's comfortable. And extend, and bend. 3 more. Kind of like opposite arm leg reach on the floor in all fours. Just a little extra work with the weights and the balance in a different way. Make sure you're not leaning back. Last one. Pause here. Bring your arms by your side. Your right leg is still in tabletop. And then you're just going to hinge forward, let your arms come towards the floor, extend your right leg back behind you, and then hinge at that right hip as you come up nice and tall. Weights come behind you. Again, working on balance here and stability. And then coming all the way back up. Hips are square at the top, and then they stay square as you come forward. And back up. Now you're going to bring your left arm into that starting position. Your right arm is going to stay long by your side. And extend your left arm, right leg as you come back. And then bring it up to the start. 5 more. You can keep your right arm by your side if you want to work your tricep a little, or you can just let that right arm fall towards the side, towards the floor. 2 more. Last one. And then come all the way up, lower your arms, shake your left leg out and your right leg if you need. And we will switch sides. So again, bring your arms that 90-90 position, lift them up towards the ceiling, feel the connection and broadness across your back, and then nice and slowly bend the elbows back to that starting position. Your left leg is going to come up into tabletop, and then tap it right back down, and lift, and down. Ribs are connected towards your hips. Even though you're standing, your core is still working to support you. Trying to keep those arms nice and still. It's maybe the hardest part of this. 2 more with just the leg. Last one. Pause with that leg in tabletop. Extend the arm, extend the leg, bend it back in. Extend the arm and the leg, and in. Again, making sure you're not leaning back. Left arm stays nice and still. For 5, 4, reaching through that whole leg on your left side. Right knee is soft. 2. Last one. Leave that leg in tabletop. Hinge around that right leg. That is now your pivot point. Arms come towards the floor. Left leg back behind you, and then come bring your hips square. So hips face the wall in front of you, and then they face straight down to the ceiling, and then come back up. Maybe you need to hold on to something. By all means, go for it. You can drop the weights too if these aren't working for you. 2 more. Last one. And then we're gonna add the arm. So left arm can stay where it is, or you're gonna bring it back in line with your left leg. Right arm comes up, extend the right arm long as you lengthen that left leg behind you. 4 more, moving slowly with control. Hold on this side. 3, 2. You may notice one side is way different than the other. This one's way harder for me. Last one. And then come all the way back up. Lower your arms down. Shake out your legs. And then go ahead and stand with your feet hip distance, more or less. And you're gonna reach your right arm up overhead. Your left arm by your side. And then just slide the weight down your left leg as you reach up and over to the left side, getting a nice stretch. Really like press through the weight and keep it supported. Shoulders are relaxed. And then lower the right arm by your side, left arm lifts, side bend up and over to the right side. Trying to get a little extra space in the ribs on each side. Good. And then you're going to take both weights into one hand. And with your feet a little wider than hip distance, you can turn your feet out if you'd like, so you're externally rotated. If you do, make sure it's from the top of your leg or hip distance, whatever squatting position works best for you. You're going to bring your weights in one hand, extend them out in front of you, and then bend the arm back in. And then extend out and bend it in. And just notice what's happening through the core. Shoulder blade stays flat on your back. 2 more. Last one. Make sure they're not going to fall out of your hand. And then you're going to squat and press the arm out, and then bend and bring it in. And then squat and press out, bend and bring it in. If you are externally rotated, whatever you're doing, actually, make sure your knees are tracking over your toes for 4. 3, keeping yourself nice and square. You can always bring a hand to your ribs or to your abdominals. Last one. Pause in that squat position. You can bend your knees just a little or come all the way down. Whatever works for you. Extend your arm out long, and then twist and rotate your arm out to the right, and then bring it back to the center. Out to the right and center. You can always drop a weight or both of them if you need. Again, keeping yourself nice and still. Centered forward. 2. Last one. Come to the center. Bring the arm in, stand all the way up, and switch sides. So just starting, standing up nice and tall, knees are soft. Left arm extends out, keeping yourself square. Back in. 6 more. Neck is long. 4. 3. 2. Last one. And then squat and press out, bend and stand up. Squat and extend, bend and press up. 5 more. And go at your own pace on these. Just make sure you're not pressing out really aggressively onto the abdominals. You want them to be engaged, but supporting you. 2 more. Last one. Find that halfway somewhere down. Slight squat position. Tuck the tailbone under just a little. Extend the arm out. Open it to the left. Back in. 6 more. Same thing with the abdominals, especially if that weight gets farther away from your body. For 3, 2. Last one. And then bend the arm in and bring the weights onto either side of your mat. And then come to sit at the front of your mat. Have your feet out in front of you, either feet planted on the floor or legs straight or kind of bent in front of you, whatever works. If you would like to hold on to the weights, you can for all of this. I'm going to pick them up and put them down. I'm going to start without them. Arms are going to be forward. Stack your spine up nice and tall. Press your hands into your shins to help find that length if you need. You can also kind of move your butt flesh out of the way. Nice and tall sitting up. Arms long. Curl your tailbone under as you roll halfway back. And then stack your spine up nice and tall. And then again, curl and roll back halfway. And up. Feel that space open up in the front of your hips. Your ribs draw towards your hips in the front. A little openness through the sacrum, through the back. Arms are long, shoulders are relaxed. And your shoulder blades are flat on your back. Chest is open. 2. And last one. Pause halfway back. Lift your arms up. Press them down. You can externally rotate the hands and then press back down if that works for you. 4 more. Ribs are drawing in towards one another. Pelvic floor lifts. 2. Last one. And then round forward all the way over your legs, and then just give them a little hug, or just like genuinely round forward. Grab onto your weights if you'd like, sitting up nice and tall. You're gonna bend the right elbow, bring the arm back in line with your rib, or hand rather in line with your rib as you twist, and then come forward. And then twist back to the left and forward. Again, you can be holding onto your weights here. I'm going to pass on this exercise. Roll straight back and then add the twist as you go. Again, open through the front of the hips, curl the tailbone under. Think sacrum touches before anything else on the back. Once more to each side. Last one. Pause in the center, don't come back up. Both arms come in and extend. Both arms in and extend for 6. Ribs draw in, tuck the tailbone under, roll down a little bit more while you're doing this if you'd like, for 3, 2. Last one. And then round yourself all the way up. Put your weights down off to the side. You won't need them for a moment. And come towards the top of your mat. Make sure you have space behind you. We're gonna do kind of like a rolling like a ball prep, and then if you wanna do a few actual rolling like a balls at the end, we will do that. So bring your heels together, toes apart, holding on to the shins or the backs of the thigh, whichever you prefer. I like holding on to my shins. Bring your heels close to your butt, and then think about finding length here. So you want your chest lifted, and your toes can rest on the ground to start, but the challenge is picking them up. And then once you're in this little balance spot where you're nice and up tall, you're gonna find that spot where you start to round through the low back, but you don't quite go back into your rolling like a ball. Like your sacrum is just starting to press into the ground. And then keep your feet lifted, stack your spine back up. And then again, curl the tailbone under, open through the front of the hips, find that rounding in your low back, and then peel yourself back up top. 2 more just like this with a little hover. This may be harder than actual rolling like a ball. And up tall. Last one. And then back up, your legs stay pretty still. Good, here you're gonna do that same motion back. And then if you wanna roll all the way back, tips of your shoulder blades and come all the way up, pause, find that lift. And then again, find that space, and then let yourself keep finding that space until you roll back, pause at the top. 2 more. Make sure you're breathing and rounding through your whole spine, last one. And then pause at the top, keep your feet lifted, grab on behind the thighs. Lift your shins, lengthen through the chest, find even more space through the back, and then roll halfway down. Find that space where you're balancing now on the sacrum a little bit more, and then come back up into your little teaser position. So you can see how rolling like a ball kind of lives inside of teaser. And back up. Use your hands to support your legs here. Last one. Hinge the pelvis around those thighs. The legs stay still. Pause at the top. Lengthen through the chest, widen through your collarbones. If you want, extend your legs if that feels comfortable. I'm gonna keep mine bent, but I'm gonna extend my arms long. And this is my teaser for today, but if you want, extend your legs all the way long, and then bring your knees into your chest and carefully roll back onto your back. And then just bring your knees into your chest and rock back and forth from one side to the other. Give your sacrum a little massage. And then plant your feet on the floor. Actually, grab your weights, take those with you if you don't have them close to you already. 1 on each side. Head is planted on the mat. Neck is nice and long. Bring your arms by your side. Starting in a nice neutral pelvis. And then from here, just draw your hips up towards your ribs on your exhale. Feel your low back gently press into the mat. Hips stay down, so you're just doing that little pelvic tilt, feeling your abdominals lift up and descend away from your hand if you were to have your hand there, and then release back to neutral, and then inhale, feel the hips draw up towards your ribs. You can always bring some fingers to your hip bones and your thumbs to your rib cage. It's like the part of your rib cage that wants to stick out. And then draw that closer together. And let it release. Find extra space in the front of your abdominals. Don't forget to engage your pelvic floor. A gentle squeeze. You'll feel a little softness inside of your hip bones on that one. 2 more. Should mostly feel good. And last one. Hold that little scoop. Bring your right leg into tabletop. Bring your left leg to meet it. And then from here, you're just gonna tap your right leg towards the floor, toes towards the ground, back to tabletop, and then tap the left leg down. And lift. You can bring your hands behind your head and lift yourself all the way up if you'd like. I'm gonna come onto my forearms. And don't worry about how big your range of motion is, but think about really initiating your movement from the thigh. So now your pelvis is the stable thing, and you're moving around. Or your femur is moving in your pelvis rather than when we were standing before and your femur was the fixed point, moving your pelvis around it. 2 more to each side. Making sure you're breathing. Last one. Left side. And then pause here with your legs in tabletop. Bring the weights into your hands. You're now in a little, the dead bug position. You're gonna extend your right arm, left leg in opposition, and then bring it back into the center. And then extend in opposition, and back to center. If you feel like the weight coming back overhead is starting to pull your ribs off the floor, or arch the low back away from a neutral or scooped pelvis, whichever one you're in, then either limit your range of motion with that arm, or just drop the weight. Additionally, the weight shouldn't add additional tension too much in your abdominals. You should be able to kind of contradict it. 2 more. Last one. Pause in the center. Right arm, right leg. So same side. Back in. Same side. Back in. For 6. Really thinking about opening up through the back of that left leg, or right leg. Sorry. 3. 2. Hip is heavy, your weight didn't all shift over to the left side. Last one. Pause with that arm and leg still. Left side. Arm and leg move together. If this gets to be too much at any point, drop the leg. It is not moving to the floor. You can keep the arm up, or you can also drop the arm. For 5. Moving nice and slow. Check in with your wrists. Make sure you're not breaking at the wrist. So you want your wrists to be nice and strong, kind of like you're in a little splint. 2. And last one. Good, bring your knees into your chest, lower one leg down to the floor, lower the other. Keep the weights in your hands right above your shoulders, and then come with your elbows open wide to the side, like you're doing a little chest press, and then just externally rotate from the arm and let your palm or back of your hands come towards the floor so you're in a goalpost position. And then feel the support through your abdominals, and then bring the arms back to that upright goal position. And then lower them back. You'll likely start to feel this pull on your abdominals. Only go so far as feels comfortable. Your upper arm is resting on the floor. If this is too intense on your shoulders, bring your arms closer to your body. 3 more. 2. Last one. And then press your arms straight to that starting position. Reach through the fingertips, bring your shoulder blades away from one another off the floor, and then let them fall back to the ground in that nice neutral position. Keep reaching through the knuckles, curl the tailbone under, press gently into your feet, and then keep peeling your spine until you lift off the floor, moving one vertebrae at a time, finding your bridge. And then peel yourself right back down. Again, arms are nice and still. You can drop the weights or your arms at any time. 2 more. Last one, this time you're gonna hold at the top. Drop the hips in neutral, almost like you're gonna tap your glutes to the floor and then lift straight back up. And then tap down and lift for 4, 3, 2. Last one, pause at the top. Lift your right heel. You can slide that foot in a little closer if you need. Drop your hips and lift for 6, 5, 4, 3, check in on your wrists, 2. Last one, pause at the top. Left heel lifts, right heel down for 6, 5, tucking the tailbone under ever so slightly at the top, engaging through the legs, make sure your knees are in line with your hips, tracking right over your toes, 2. Last one, leave the left heel lifted, lift the right heel with both heels lifted. Tap the butt down and lift. And lift. Keep thinking about drawing the heels towards the shoulders, even though they're not on the floor, to really engage through the back of the hamstrings, but still find that opening through the hips at the top. For 4, 3, 2. Last one, pause at the top, lower the heels down, scoot your feet away a little if you need, and then bring your right leg into tabletop. Extend the right leg, left arm, and then bring it back in. And then extend and bring it back in. And if this is too much, you're just going to do a second round of the alternating dead bug with your hips down. Or just lower your hips until they're in a slight hover above the floor for 3, 2. This is the dead bug opposite arm leg reach class. Last one. Lower that leg down. Left side. Left leg lifts, arm and leg, and bring it in. And extend. And again, drop the hips if you need for 6. Ribs knit towards one another. Make sure your hips and ribs are maintaining that connection through the abdominals. Your hips are square. 2. Last one. Lower that leg. Keep your hips lifted if you can. If you need to lower them down, obviously do so. Lift the right leg, right arm, right leg. And back in. Really thinking about how your balance is impacted when you switch from opposite arm leg to single side. Last one like this. Keep your right leg in tabletop, both arms, single leg. Again, drop your hips if you need. Keep your range of motion small so you're nice and controlled. Left inner thigh is working so that knee is still in line with your hip for 3, 2. Last one. Lower your right leg. Left leg lifts. Again, drop your hips if you need. Left arm, left leg for 5, 4, 2. Breathing as you move. Check in on that right leg. Last one. Both arms, both legs for 6. 4 more. Moving from the back of the leg. 3, 2. Last one, lower that leg down. Bend your arms, bring them either onto the floor by your side or overhead, whatever feels better. And then lift your hips all the way up to the height that's comfortable. Tuck your tail under and feel yourself down. If you want, bring your hands to your thighs and feel yourself quite literally pressing your thighs away. You like make a little extra space in the low back as you come down, and then just take 1 or 2 little pelvic tilts here. Stretch out the low back in case it took a little extra attention than you maybe intended to give it. Last one. And then bring the knees into the chest so you can give them a little rock from one side to the other. Hands behind your thighs. And come all the way up. Bring your hands either pointing towards your butt or pointing away from you. Feet are planted on the floor. And then round your shoulders forward. Feel your spine and back start to come in between your biceps. And then externally rotate through the upper arm, through the shoulders, and feel your chest lift. Curl the tailbone under or stay in a neutral pelvis. Check out whichever one feels better for you. Press your feet into the floor and then lift yourself up into a little bridge. Play with your feet positioning and then drop your hips down and then lift. And down. Also play with your hands, whatever feels good. For 4, 3, 2 more. Last one. And then drop your hips so they're just above the floor. If your fingers are turned facing you, you're good. If they're to the side or away from you, bring them at least out to the sides, if not facing you. And you're gonna bend your elbows back behind you and then press up. Tiny motion. I think I'm bending my elbows maybe 2 inches, and then press straight up. You may barely move. Your triceps are doing a lot of work. 4 more. 3, give your neck a little shake. 2, use the whole hand. Last one. Lower the hips down, and then just round forward over your legs. Give your back a little stretch. Excuse me. And then stack your spine up nice and tall, and you're going to come onto your right side. You're gonna have your bottom leg bent, top leg long, and you're gonna reach your top arm up towards the ceiling with or without your weight, your choice. Now you have 2 options. You can either stay here, we're gonna do something arm and something full body. You can either stay in this position here, or you're gonna come up into a modified side plank, but not a full side plank yet. And you're gonna bend your elbow down towards your side and then press it straight up. I'm gonna leave my hips down. Bend and extend. For 6. Whether you are in that side plank or modified side plank, or you're down on your hip like I am, doesn't matter. Use your bottom arm to press away. Your neck is nice and long. 2 more. Last one. Pause with that arm by your side, elbow by your side. Internally rotate towards the floor, and then open up just to 90. And then internally rotate and open up. And if you're in that side plank, it looks just like this. So literally the only difference is that your hips are off the floor. 4 more. If it was just your upper body, I wouldn't be able to tell what your lower body was doing. 3, 2. Last one. Pause with that open. Lift it up towards the ceiling. Lift the top leg, regardless of whether you're in your side plank or not. Extend the arm and leg overhead, and then lift the leg, bring the arm to the leg. And then extend it overhead. Lift the arm, or lift the leg, lower the arm. Reach overhead. If you're in your side plank, it looks like this. 3 more. 2. Last one. Leave the leg long. You can do your arm with the arm bent or up long, or bring it to the floor, your call. Flex the foot, bring the leg forward, sweep it back. Flex and bring it forward, sweep it back. Opening up through the front of that left hip for 3, 2. Last one. Pause that leg in line with your hip, and you're going to do circles for 8, 7, 6. Press the floor away. Neck is long. 3, 2. Last one. Reverse for 8. 5. Ribs are drawing towards your hips, not arching the back. 2. Last one. Bend that knee in. Lower your legs down. Come up into a nice side sit position. Your legs are off to the left. Reach up and over to the right. Not to the right, to the left. Reach toward your legs. And then you're gonna switch to the other side. So, coming into that either modified plank or just down on your hip with your leg long. Plank light, I'll call this one. Either way, upper body is doing the same thing. Lift through the ribs on the bottom side, press through that bottom arm, shoulders away from your ears. Holding onto your weight, extend your arm nice and long, neck is long, leg is long, hips are square to the front, bend at the elbow, press up. And if this also gets to be too much, you can just lay all the way down on your side. For 4, 3, 2, or bend your legs like I'm doing. Last one. Pause with the elbow bent, close to your side, internally rotate, open to 90. Keeping that 90-degree bend at the elbow is pretty important because if you bring your arm too close to your bicep, you'll start to lose it in your shoulder. Also, keeping that elbow nice and still, also important. 5, 4, 3, press the floor away, ribs lift. 2, last one. Extend that arm up towards the ceiling. Reach the arm overhead, your leg stays down. Reach the arm towards the leg as the leg lifts for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. And last one. Leave the leg lifted. Arm can be lifted with or without the weight. Flex at the foot, bring it forward, point, sweep it back. Flex and bring it forward, keeping the pelvis nice and still. So you're not arching or rounding the low back. Though some days, easier said than done. Today being one of those. 2. Last one. Pause with your leg in line with your hip. Circles for 8. 7, press away from the floor, neck is nice and long. 3, 2, last one, reverse for 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 2. Last one. Bend those knees on top of each other and then side bend up and over towards your legs. Good. And then you're going to come onto your knees to kneel. If you would prefer to do this standing, you can do it standing. You can also do it sitting. If you're sitting, make sure that whatever position you're in, you're up nice and tall. So if you want to sit on like the corner of a table or your couch, that works. Fold your mat over if you need a little padding for your legs, or grab a towel. Grab onto your arms, grab onto your weights. And then come up into tall kneeling or standing or sitting, regardless of what you're doing. Find the connection in the front of your body. Tuck the tailbone under slightly. Find the stack of your ribs right over your hips, your neck in line with your head in line with your spine. Bring the arms to a 90-degree angle. And without sending your body back, staying up nice and tall, you're going to extend your arms long. And bend your elbows back by your side. So this would be vertebrae on the reformer for 6. Similar to when we were doing the squats, noticing what your body wants to do, whether you want to throw your weight back, arch your back, put all the weight in your elbows, try to resist all those things. Using your breath and moving while you're thinking about what you're doing. 2 more. Last one. Bring the elbows in. Bring the arms wide out to the side, like this. And then hug a tree. And then bring them out wide. And then hug a tree. And bring it wide. I'm going to sit on a pillow today. You're going to keep doing that. We're going to do a total of 12 total. 4 more. 3, Last one. Reach the palms up towards the ceiling, bend them back in. Again, regardless of what positioning you're in, bring your arms long and then have them slightly externally rotated. I'm gonna drop the weights for this, but by all means keep them if you'd like, and then lift your arms straight up. Keep a soft bend in your elbows and then lower them back down. So you're lifting for that like offering type arm motion again, soft bend in the elbows, shoulders flat on the back for 4, 3, 2, something in my eye, last one, and then bend the elbows in. Good. Palms are resting, weights are resting in your palms are not resting in your weights. And then you're gonna externally rotate the arms and then bring them back to center. Externally rotate and bring them back to center. And externally rotate and out for 4 more. Elbows stay nice and still. 3, 2, breathing. Last one, pause with your arms out, extend them out to the side, bend the elbows in, bring them to the center, and then open, out, bend, and center. Keeping that soft bend in the elbows again as you lift. And think about lifting, so getting a little work into the shoulders. 2 more. Last one. And then come back to the center. Drop one arm by your side, right hand to your left hip rather, palm faces the hip, lift through the elbow and extend the arm open like you're drawing a sword. And then palm to your chest and then right palm to left hip. So draw your sword out and then come back in. Palm faces in until you reach your shoulder and then externally rotate. And then again, as you bend the elbow, bring the palm to your shoulder and down and extend. 2 more. Keeping your left arm nice and still and your body nice and still. Good. And then reach your right arm by your side. Left palm comes to face your right hip. Palm stays in line with or against your chest until you reach your shoulder, leading with your elbow, and then externally rotate. And then bend the palm to face you and then lower down to that hip. Lead from the elbow and extend. Again, tucking the tailbone under, finding that connection between your ribs and your hips. Back down. 5 more. You can also change positions if you want to stand, you're sick of kneeling, you want to kneel, whatever. Mix it up. We'll be here for like 1 more thing. Last one. Lead from the elbow, open, and then back in and down. So sitting will be the most difficult. So kneeling, you are going to hinge at your hips. Standing, you are also going to hinge at your hips. Bring the elbows back so that they are slightly back behind your sides. And then extend the arms long and then leave the elbows where they are and then bend the elbow and extend and bend the elbow. You can also sit back onto your feet and do this in a low kneeling position. This or high. For 6. Think about me standing behind you, holding your upper arms right where they meet your elbows, pulling them back, neck is long. 2. Last one, leave the arms long, press the palms towards one another for 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tiny bit up, pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the arms down. Drop your weights to the side. If you have a pillow, move your pillow. And then come down onto all 4s. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then curl your tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ceiling. Drop your head. Give your head a little shake. And then uncurl your spine, find length through the front and back of your body, a little extension through the upper back, chest pulls forward through the arms, and then round your spine back up towards the ceiling. Feel your ribs really drop towards your hips, press away from the knees, the shins, the feet, and the hands, and then come back one more time into that cat position, cow position, I don't know. Find length and a little extension. And then from here, find a nice neutral spine, tuck your toes under, lift your knees up into a little bear plank here. Take a nice big breath, inhale and exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Step your right foot back. Find length in the back of the right leg. Bring your left leg to meet it. Hold your plank here. Find a nice inhale. Lengthen through the front of your chest, like you're leaning over the front of a cliff. Bend your knees if you need, and then bend your elbows back by your side. Press back up. Push-ups here, tucking the tailbone under slightly. Ribs drawing towards your hips. 4 more. 3. Modify as you need. 2. Last one. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips towards the ceiling. Find space for your head. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. Bend your knees as much as you need. Press your chest towards the floor. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. And then from here, round your spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Bring your hands onto your hips. Soft knees, hinge at the hip. Find that nice long spine that we did at the very beginning of class. Keep finding that length. Find it from the hips, the low back, the mid back, and the upper back as you round forward over your legs one last time. See where your hands are now. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale. Find even more space from the front of your body. Keep your knees bent. They don't need to be straight for really any reason. And then peel yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time, nice and slowly. Knees stay soft. Ribs stack over hips. Shoulders over ribs, head in line with your spine. Lift your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Ribs stay down, and then externally rotate. Press your hands down. Head is nice and tall. And your arms will find their place by your side. And you are all finished. Thanks. Thank you. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. Have a good week.